Welcome to the Things Conference, a forum where we convene, collaborate and forge partnerships. Today, we're here to celebrate the myriad successes in the IoT industry. What distinguishes these successes? How have they come to prominence? And how can we scale them even further? The Things Conference is a breeding ground for a positive sum game mentality. Those who have mastered the art of collaboration have triumphed over those who sought to go it alone. The splendour of the Internet of Things ecosystem lies in the diversity of its applications and the fragmented nature of the market. Each niche offers something unique, comprehensible only to domain experts armed with specialist knowledge, trade secrets, and a nuanced understanding of specific go-to-market channels. Assume 99% of the Internet of Things market still has to be developed, with an immense amount of value yet to be realised. This is merely the beginning, and you're part of it. So revel, experiment, and discover here at the Things Conference. Enjoy the Things Conference 2023.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Things Conference. Welcome to the Things Conference 2023. Also welcome people watching us live online. Here is Wienke. My name is Johan. We are the founders of the Things Industries.
So yeah, welcome. It's already very crowded. We have sold around 1,000 tickets, and it's really great. We have people from all around the world, from every continent. We have more than 100 speakers. We have more than 70 partners, and we're very, very excited, and we're looking forward to the next 2 days.
So who is here? Thanks also to our partners making this event possible. So many different companies from different geographies, different parts of the IoT industry, from silicon to supply chain to cloud, whole solutions. Most of these partners, or all of them, they have a booth outside, so you can learn what everyone is doing.
Yeah, so the theme of this opening keynote and of the conference is specialize and collaborate. We all know that IoT is incredibly hard, and trying to take up the entire challenge of IoT end-to-end is very, very challenging. So what we have to have is an ecosystem of specialists that use open standards so they can seamlessly collaborate.
And so the open standard that we're all passionate about here, and that brings us all together in one way or the other, is LoRaWAN. And so this is a wireless connectivity connection that allows you to connect constrained devices that are running on a battery to the cloud, and that can be running on a battery for years. It's a standard, it's certifiable, and it allows you to build many, many different use cases.
So our bread and butter at the Things Industries is that we offer a network management software in a hosted way for LoRaWAN solutions. And the diversity of our customer base is immense. We do this all around the world on every continent, from literally mines in Chile to cow tracking applications in Australia, and all our awesome systems integrators, partners, and customers are bringing all these different niches to life using LoRaWAN.
Besides cloud, we have an offering for on-premises, and this is for customers that are using private cloud solutions or that are running on isolated networks or government cloud. It's the same product, same APIs, same user experience, but with more control for certain use cases. So we released a press release yesterday that we have now 1.5 million devices connected to the Things stack in any of the deployment types that we offer. And this is, in January, I think our release was 1 million. So this is how fast it is growing. And what's growing even faster is the number of messages that we are processing. So we are now processing almost 2.5 billion messages per month. And imagine the cost and the investment that has gone into the ability to transmit those messages. And also imagine that when a LoRaWAN device decides to actually transmit a message, it tries to combine a lot of data points in a single message. So the value density of these messages, 2.5 billion, is massive. And this is all powered by the Things stack. So the Things stack is our product that terminates LoRaWAN on one side and integrates seamlessly with applications and IoT platforms on the other side. And our strategic focus here when building this platform is product leadership and operational excellence. We want to build the very best product at the very best and competitive service level. And we do that by having a multi-cluster global deployment that we manage it. We take away all the operational problems that you can imagine when scaling such a network. So you don't have to think about that. We have a continuous integration and deployment pipeline where we are able to release updates every 3 weeks. We switched last year from Intel to ARM architecture that reduced our cloud bill by 30% and reduced our energy footprint of 60%. So we're also really happy with that. And we have a very configurable security architecture that allows our customers to take some of the security credentials that they need to have in their own domain and work with our managed cloud platform at the same time. And finally, we have an on-premise version, like I said, that allows our customers to have more control over how they operate the Think stack in their environment. So all in all, we built this complete, feature-complete platform to build LoRaWAN solutions.
So let's dive into the ecosystem, taking the hypothesis that you can only be successful if we're all successful. If we're all a gathering of specialists, then we have to enable each other, and we have to make sure that we work with our partners and even with our competitors. So let's just kind of dig into this, how this ecosystem business case works. So we run 1.5 million devices on our platform, and we're just one of the LoRaWAN platform management players, of course, in the world. But if you look at the cost and the effort that goes into a single device, setting up the network, setting up the devices, installing the devices, our estimate is that the total cost of ownership per device is around $300. So that's almost already $500 million in effort and investment that needs to go in to make this base work and make that data flow, these 2.5 billion messages per month. So if you drill down, and this is an estimate, is that you need a lot of specialties. If you really want to make it all come together, you need to have installation, you need to have the network management, you need to have the hardware, you need to have the financing, you need to have the mitigation. So actually, that's a lot.
And so what do we do? How do we help our customers to reduce these costs? So we built this platform with a very reliable, available platform, keeping it up to date, supporting the latest LoRaWAN specifications. We launched a Network Operations Center. That's a new feature, part of the Think Stack Cloud and Cloud Plus, that allows our customers to have really great insight in their network deployments and improve gateway performance and increase battery life of their end devices. And we're also launching and of course, the tools to install and provision devices in a very secure way without dealing with individual keys and things like that. We're launching later this year our new certification program, and this is providing another level of confidence to device makers and integrators to know that everything works and is secured in one way or the other by the Think stack.
So let's go back to the business case. So of course, this is the total cost of ownership. So this is the pie of cost. But of course, there's also a pie of returns. And we estimate if you do a deployment and just take it kind of like a 3 to 4 year time span for your business case, at least you need to have a 5x return because you need to cover the overhead, you need to include mitigation lines, you need to make a profit, right? So, and if you kind of you're ending up at kind of like, for this base, around 2 billion in efficiencies. And it's not only cash, right? It's also miles not driven because we have optimized routes or energy not consumed. Then every day we get the question, so again, what's the niche, kind of what's the market that's successful? And this is the unsatisfying answer, right? There is no satisfying answer. The answer is you're going to be successful in the niche that you actually know for 10 years and where you are an expert in. And if you can leverage IoT as a commodity, then you're going to be successful. We have barely seen people being successful in the IoT business side by solely going from the technology part. But what is very interesting is the overlap that it actually has. So maybe it doesn't really have commercial success overlap, but it has a lot of technology overlap. And that's where open standards come in, and very, very important, because that allows you to replicate this kind of technical capability or excellence very easily, but you can be inspired by a niche in a completely different market, and you can utilize that for your own benefit. And that's why we always are very happy, and the visitors are already happy that we lay out all these devices in the Wall of Fame. And now we've included also a solution and business case Wall of Fame, where we dig deeper into these business cases and where you can be inspired for yourself or for your customer or whatsoever. So here are the efficiencies. These are mostly kind of direct operational efficiency, either monetary or non-monetary. But then the next step, and this is also, of course, something that fueled the big IoT hype, and it's more something that lie ahead of us, is if you gather all that historical data and you can own that as an enterprise, and you have that, then, of course, with all the new machine learning, AI, the current kind of hype, what's coming to the market, that's going to be extremely valuable. And this only will drive more investments and more capital and will allow us to make more mature products, better products over the time to come. So if you look at kind of like very briefly, how did these customers and the customers of our customers get to the success that they have the deployments? So one thing is really clear: you have to do one thing really well and work together with others, but specialized at your one thing. That's why the theme specialize and collaborate, because then you can deliver a lot of value. We also see this less is more. So if you already have a digital transformation strategy and you have proper IT systems, basically use that as the basis and use IoT as a plugin, and use less platforms than more platforms. If there's already an off-the-shelf device, really prioritize, see if you can make something work with an off-the-shelf device, and the not invented here kind of syndrome that we all know is in the industry is try to resist that. What we also have seen is a balance in focusing on customers and investors. We've seen companies and customers of ours that really focused on their customer and were agile enough to move fast and not kind of stick to the PowerPoint they presented to their investors 3 to 4 years ago. They are more agile and eventually are more successful because they can try again without going down. So IoT is like baking pancakes. The first one will always fail, right? But if you want to build bake the second one, you make sure that the house is not on fire. So you have to be agile. You have to be able to fail fast. It is just incredibly hard, and you have to learn fast. A fair share mentality. So projects that had seen cutthroat negotiations and no consideration for each other's kind of sustainability and longevity and margins, you also always see that they run out of fuel, they run out of energy, and they don't become sustainable projects. And the last one, pick the right technology for your problem. We are fanboys of LoRaWAN, but so don't kind of take our advice on which IoT technology to use. Also, don't take a random guy on LinkedIn's advice as well, but kind of really do proper research and also here less is more.
So then let's look a bit into the future. So what we're going to see is less batteries, but yet at longer battery life. So it's going to be more data for the same money. And this is going to change many business cases and also make a lot of business cases in IoT. So what we've been seeing today is that many devices, they run on a battery for maybe average 3 years. But there's a new generation of LoRaWAN devices now coming to the market that you can also see on the Wall of Fame, and Wienke will go over a few key examples that allow you to take energy from the environment and turn it into usable energy to extend the battery life of the end device. And this could be very simple things like light sensors indoor that are able to harvest energy and to continue operation. And that will, once it increases the battery life, it completely changes the economics behind the use case.
Yeah, so if you then go back to that pie, so imagine we have an IoT project that has a capital expense to do a deployment. And now all of a sudden that same asset can be leveraged at 3 times the lifespan. That means that basically your cost will the same, but your returns kind of go and triple. And so this is really, really disruptive economics. And also what you see is that if you do an IoT, basically it's an IT investment, and you write it off in 3 to 4 years, it's an IT investment. The moment that sensor deployment can actually send data for over 10 years, it becomes more of an infrastructure investment. So this just completely changes the game because it actually becomes a different asset class. So if you look at the pioneers who are driving this, and these are the first, and we expect that in 2 to 3 years there will be no LoRaWAN sensors without this kind of energy harvesting technologies. Of course, last year we presented the pioneers of LSys. They have also even a biodegradable sensor, and then we have MC Climate. They have a thermostat that sits in the living room. You see here on the left. Also today we have here Dracula Technologies. They're going to make a very, very cool announcement, so check out the schedule and go to Roelofstok because they're going to present something very unique that runs on ambient light and a tracker without a battery. So very excited about that. And of course, Voltaic will specialize more on making sure that the solar panels works for IoT devices outdoor, but also for instance, gateways and other utilizations. So yeah, this is something we are super excited about.
So next, and this is what we've been talking about already for a couple of years, but now things are getting integrated and usable, and we can also demonstrate it finally, and that is our satellite integration. And this is what we are super excited about. So what we launched already, I think last year or the year before, is our Lacuna Space integration. That's a native integration through Packet Broker, delivering data in the ThinkStack cloud in a domain that you're already comfortable with. And now we have our EchoStar integration as well, using a geostationary satellite, 36,000 kilometers above the equator. And this allows you to send data if you have outside use cases. Many use cases that are unable to reach gateways on the ground are able to make use of LoRaWAN in the same way. One device can actually talk to multiple satellite systems at the same time because they're using the same modulation. Delivering the data in the way that everyone is used to in the ThinkStack cloud. So it is like any other LoRaWAN device using existing user experience, developer experience, and application level integrations. One of the new features, and that goes hand in hand with the satellite integration, is LoRaWAN Relay. So this is not something revolutionary, but it's a really important incremental improvement in LoRaWAN. That's a standard specification published by the LoRa Alliance. And this allows devices that are unable to reach a gateway themselves to use a relay, which is any other LoRaWAN device, to forward the message to the LoRa gateway. And this can be used for many different use cases. The 2 most important ones are network expansion. So if you have a large deployment where you have some of your devices on the edges of the network that you're unable to reach with gateways, maybe unable to reach in general or in a very inefficient and power-consuming way, you're able to install a relay to connect those devices. Another use case is to interconnect devices that are installed in places that are really hard to reach, for example, in basements. And this is a standard specification. Again, it's a LoRaWAN end device that needs to implement this relay specification. This is already available today in Semtech's LoRa Basics modem stack. You need a relay, and a relay, like I said, it can be any LoRaWAN device, also implementing these LoRaWAN specifications. It can even be a device that has its own use case and that sends its own telemetry. And you can also buy off-the-shelf relays, and we also have more on that later, and also on the device wall of fame. The gateway is unchanged, and of course you need support in a network server, and that's what we built in the ThinkStack. And we also now make that available to our users and customers shortly.
Yeah, so,
sorry.
This one. Yeah. Yep. So One other trend is that we see more and more devices. We talked about all these different niches, and many different niches, they need hardware modifications, and they need specific hardware to kind of generate the returns. And what you see here at the device Wall of Fame, we have is a lot of new players. What's interesting is also very experienced and notable industrial companies like Thermocon or Pepperl & Fuchs. They have adopted LoRaWAN as a commodity, and in that way adding a capability to their specialized sensors, which they already kind of are good at for decades in the past. The other one is that because there are so many different products and it's so kind of relatively the NREs are low for LoRaWAN, we'll also see that more and more module makers are integrating LoRaWAN in their module ecosystem. And you also see at this conference the notable players announcing new modules, and there's a lot more to come in the next 12 months. So we've looked at where we are right now, where things are heading, and there's one more thing. Is that we're today at this conference, we're presenting the generic node concept edition, and as we said, we are not a hardware company, but to make sure that to make sure that we can integrate all these things that are coming in the future, we need to have a hardware platform. So what this device does is we integrated the EchoStar connectivity in this device, and you will see 5 of them at our booth. And this is our contribution to the ecosystem, because we're open sourcing this design. This will allow anybody to make easier satellite connectivity, but it also is able to switch to terrestrial. So it's a pretty awesome device. We've tested it thoroughly over the last few weeks, and it's amazing how such a small device can send a message to a satellite 36,000 kilometers above the equator and end it up in the Think stack. So we're inviting everybody to collaborate on this and to see where they can take it further, so that we can focus on our software platform. Yes. So yeah. So that's it for us. The program looks really nice. We're really proud of having so many speakers, so many visitors, so many partners. So that's really cool. A few things I wanted to highlight. Tomorrow we have the Women in IoT lunch. Gender diversity is an issue in this industry, and it's something we should always keep addressing and through any means we can. So everybody's invited to that lunch. Tonight there's going to be a party, so I hope to see you there. Tomorrow, a startup called APK and co-founder Nicholas Sornin, they're going to do a rescue boat demonstration. So they have used LoRa ranging as a new innovation to rescue missions. So we're going to drop in the port of Amsterdam a beacon without Nicola knowing. He has an application which is basically points an arrow to where somebody kind of dropped into the water, and we're going to all live stream this here, and this is in collaboration with the rescue teams of the Port of Amsterdam, which is super cool. And then tonight we're going to have drinks around 4:30, 4:45, and then that's over there. And during your drink, you can enjoy an unfiltered chat I'll be having with IoT veterans Jaap Groot and Alistair Fulton, and that will not be recorded and not be broadcasted. So that will stay in that room. So you better be there, because we're going to have a laugh. So that's it.
That's it.
We're done. Now it's up to you.
Enjoy the conference.
Enjoy the conference.